Let's get the vibe right. Welcome to the show. Bison Spotlight. Chip and B Smooth, bringing heat to your ears. He washing the mix, facing down all fears. From the court to the crowd where the legends are born. Howard University, we're breaking the norm. Bison Nation stands strong through thick and thin. Basketball vibes, it's more than a win. Every dribble, every shot, it's a story to tell. Ray of excellence, we ringing the bell. Chip Washington's the name, self-proclaimed fanatic. In the heart of the game, his passion's emphatic. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers Podcast is who we are. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers Podcast is who we are.
Welcome to the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast, your number one home for all things Bison basketball. My name is Chip Washington, the self-professed Bison basketball fanatic.
What's up, Bison family? It's your boy B Smooth, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball. And we're in it, man. This is about midway through the non-conference schedule, and we can't wait to bring you the recap for this past week. It's been an amazing week for us at Howard and basketball program. Man, how you doing this week, bro?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. In the absence of E-Wash, I have to say I'm a little down because the Bears lost. Well, I needed them to beat Green Bay. You know, that Green Bay is like Hampton to us. You know, we got you. Man.
That only makes sense if Green Bay kept calling themselves Chicago.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you've been to Green Bay, you know there's no Chicago in Green Bay. That's for sure. Well, I understand. And maybe I'm a little bit more lighthearted because my team, the 49ers, didn't play this week. So they didn't give me a chance to get all wound up before the show this week. So it was all things basketball, and got a chance to hang out with some basketball fans who are going to be at some of our upcoming games here in North Carolina. So I got a chance to do some fan engagement this week. So it's been pretty good. But
cool.
Before we get into why we do what we do, Chip, I just want to remind everybody that we have a flow to the show, and you all have been rocking with us really well here in season 2. It's hard to believe this is episode 8 in the rotation. We've added a few things to continue to expand the program and tell the stories that we want to tell. Wanted to first thank everybody for checking out the first part of Ty Grace's interview, The Blueprint, with us. She sat down with us over the homecoming weekend, had so much to share. We wanted to break it up into a few parts. So appreciate Ty Grace and her staff really allowing us access to her and allowing you all to meet the woman behind the master plan. So thank you all. Keep checking it out. Also want to shout you out, Chip, you know, after the buzzer, the new segment where we're trying to bring post-conference opportunities to our players and coaches. I know it's still getting off the ground a little bit, but you had some really good ones these last couple of games. And Zoe Stewart is a star, both on and off camera there. So I'm glad you're able to get some time with her. So if you're on our YouTube channel, please check it out. You know, that's something that'll allow you to see a little bit more behind the program. And then I also want to just make sure I shout it out real quickly. You know how it goes. After we get to the next part of our segment here, we're going to jump into recaps. We got one game for the fellas this week, and then we have 2 for our young ladies. One we circled and told you about. We're going to get into that one because it was a pretty cool outcome that we want to talk about. And then we're going to shift gears. We're going to do over and under reactions. I know it's going to be hard to imagine, but we may embellish or may be hyperbolic in what we decide to talk about because we got a little bit more detail every week, so we can talk a little bit more about what we think the outcome of the season might be. And then before we wrap up, we're going to talk a little bit about other games we're circling on the calendar. So, you know, stay tuned, hang out with us. We'll definitely be having some fun. And as always, if you hear something that sparks you to want to ask a question or chime in, always comment. Make sure you put it on any of the forums that we're in, our Instagram as well as YouTube. But before I get any further, Chip, please take a moment to let people know why we do what we do with Bison Brothers Basketball.
Bison Nation, we are here continually to remind you to support these championship teams. And you can do that in so many ways. You could donate to the MECA Society. That is the team's name, image, and likeness collective. You could do that by going to the mecasociety.org. You can also donate through the Bison Express Booster Club. You can do that at hubison.com. And you can give through Fanstake at fanstake.com using the code MECA25. And I almost feel like I don't need to say this next part because I've been seeing it in action, but continue to go to the games. Put butts in seats. Bison Nation, the herd, I see you out there on the road. ODU, Syracuse, you name it. I see you, Bison Nation, so continue to go to the games if they're at the Burr. If you're out on the road, the teams love to see you in the stands. And as always, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to tell everybody about this podcast. We're growing. We are growing, and it's because of you. So continue to tell everybody about this podcast. You can hear us just about anywhere on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and you can follow us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. So continue to do all those things. Continue to grow the herd, Bison Nation. We're getting bigger and bigger, and the world is starting to see. So continue to do that. Let's support these championship teams, and as always, be smooth. Let's get in.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You always get me excited about our purpose, man. We're always telling the stories that need to be told, and we're doing it for a good cause. The donations are up, the listeners are up, the engagement is up. So we couldn't do it without you, Bison Nation. So make sure before you get too much deeper into the episode, hit the like button, hit subscribe, tell your friends about it. After the next break here, we'll jump right into some recaps and insights. See you on the other side. Yeah, man, shout out to the Showtime Marching Band. That's the Stone Cold Groove. I feel like I'm at the Burr every time I hear that track, Chip. We're going to have to see if they'll come on the show and maybe do something live for us. We're media now. We can ask for things when you're media. So Welcome back to the program. This is Bison Brothers Basketball. I'm your boy, B Smooth. We got Chip Washington, the host with the most. And we're at one of our favorite parts of the show where we get to bring our perspective on recaps and insights of the game. And tonight, I believe we're going to start with our guys because they only had one game this week. So I'll bring up the final score so we can actually make sure everybody knows. We actually had a chance to host Bowie State. They actually came to the Burr this past weekend. And, because of the way our season has been going, it was a get-right game for us, Chip. Final score, 85-69. I think there were probably only a handful of moments where the score was seen closer than the game really was. But it was good to see us go up and down the bench and get it going. So let's jump into it, man. What did you see? Because I know this is one of the games that I got a chance to catch the replay on. I was traveling a little bit, but I was enjoying hearing the scores as they were pouring in. So what did you see?
I saw the emergence of Ose Okoji as a offensive powerhouse, which was very good to see. I think that'll play well, further into the season. That was just very good to see. Actually, on the constructive criticism side, even though we had, a nice lead, our big men. I thought this was a game where they could have really taken advantage of the situation, but yet our big men still haven't played really, really big. And I think we're going to need that heading into MEAC play. So, how we had our look into the camera moments from last season, Donis, Julian, we need y'all are 6'9", 6'10". When you got as Stacey King would say for the Bulls, you got mouse in the house. I need you guys to be 6'9" and 6'10". Saw a couple of shots when Julian got blocked by some smaller dudes. I was like, oh no, we can't have this. So, you know, my big men, and I know Coach Nate James is telling them in practice because I've seen it with my own eyes. They got to start dunking. It's an attitude thing. Like when they go up, no layups, no layups. So I need our big men to dunk, to want to dunk. Yes, I think Donis only had four points.
4
in
points.
This game. No way he should have just had
three rebounds and 4 points. It doesn't sound like a guy who's 6'10". It doesn't sound like a guy who's 6'10". And I'm glad you mentioned the other post players. I know, shout out to Calvin Robbins from Chicago. He got a chance to put some points on the board and some rebounds. He was actually getting the rebounds. So we want to see from our guys that are over 6'9" and 6'10". So I got you. And Ose was surprisingly proficient on offense. I love to say, I like the way you say the emergence, because he's a bona fide champion. He was on our 2 championship seasons and played really well, but he's been in the gym, so you can tell he's really playing defense and getting to the bucket a lot with a lot more ease. But yeah, to see him be the leading scorer when, we have Bryce Harris, our perennial All-American and MEAC player of the year, playing, it's nice to see him get some help. I think on the opposite side for me, I was actually encouraged by seeing so much production from the guards. They were shooting really well. That's the first time I've seen us really step up our game from a shooting percentage perspective, and you didn't have to worry about whether Bryce was hot or not, because that was how we were starting slower in some of our previous games. So I know I'm looking for the big men to play more, but I'm really happy when I see more people scoring than 1 or 2, because that means we'll have better options when we get into conference play. I still think people are scouting us to think if they can stop Bryce, they can stop us. But seeing this game, it lets me know people are starting to assume some roles that we've been looking for. So shout out to Cam Gillis, putting points on the board. I know you're trying to talk me into him being more of a shooting guard. He did shoot well, and he doesn't have the assist to tell me that he's doing the point guard just yet. But I know I love seeing how we were able to balance everything between him and Alex Cotton out of Texas, as well as Bryce. So it was good to see the balance of the guard play and the movement of the ball. So I like to call those get right games. Get right games.
And BJ Powell and Isaiah Brown also had good games coming off the bench, in terms of the guard play. So very, very encouraging as we head towards conference play. I mean, I think Isaiah only played 11 minutes, but had 5 assists during his 11-minute stretch. So
he sure did. He sure did. Yeah, the assists are picking up. I think that's the thing, is when I see the numbers like that pick up, the team is really starting to trust one another on the court, and they know that they're getting trying to get the best shot. So I didn't have a whole lot to add for what you shared here. I'm excited about seeing us starting to gel at this point in the season. We have a couple of more games to really see where we're going, and I know in our look ahead we'll talk about a couple of matchups coming up this week that'll we just circle them. We like to circle them because if nothing else, they'll give us a little bit more excitement around some of our historical foes when it comes to who we play. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, man. So anything else around this game, man?
Just one quick moment. Did you catch there was a potential new nickname for Dunk Master Flex, Calvin Robbins?
I did not get it. Which one is that?
He scored 9 points, and the announcer said Basket Robbins. I said, we might have some NIL brand opportunities there.
Let's
so
get
Basket Robbins, if you're listening, Calvin Robbins, number 21, Howard Bison, holla at him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Basket
Robbins.
Basket
I like
Robbins.
That. Basket Robbins. Let's put a call in. That's definitely a brand deal in the making. And now I want dessert. I was actually fine until we started the show, Chip. Appreciate you. You got me thinking about ice cream right now. So this is good. This is good. But I would say, just to wrap this part up here, I'm appreciating the fact that we're starting to see everybody start to figure out their roles on the team. So everybody who was able to play did get some time, and I know that I'm getting excited about Cedric making his return here, hopefully in the next few weeks. I saw him walking around on the sideline without a brace on, so I'm hoping that means he's starting to feel a little bit better. We want him to get a few reps before we get to conference play, but I'm getting excited about adding him the last element to the team, so we can start to see how we're really gonna jail going into the conference play right after the new year here. So it's pretty exciting.
I just hate that it's his shooting hand. So I don't know how that's going to affect his comeback trail. So
well, that's what we have to be excited about. I may or may not be talking about that in my over or under reaction. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
Okay.
It's when I see that thing that got us last year was really our health and not having a healthy lineup. We've been reasonably healthy so far, knock on wood. And so being able to get people to get some reps while we're not having to have people play, I feel good. So like I said, it was good to see a win. The bird was rocking for as much as it does right during finals time. Shout out to the students that come to the games and all the fans that come. Shout out to our boy Carlisle Seeley. He tends to find a good seat in the house. He's got to be a ticket broker or something. He's always on the sideline, and I know he must have access to some pretty good seats. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing this continue to pack the burr. And shout out to our men for putting this together. We'll talk about where they're heading next here in a moment. But let's move to the ladies, because they did have a couple of games for us. And if you recall, Bison Nation, we mentioned last week that we were circling a game with Fairfield. And I know, Chip, you can set it up better than me, because there's a reason why we circled this game. Please tell Bison Nation, Chip, why we circled the Fairfield game among all the games that our ladies play.
So even though you might call me the king of hyperbole, this one was worth it, because it was a clash of the top 25 Titans. So Fairfield was sitting closer to the top at number 8 at game time, and we were sitting at number 19. And even the announcers, I think, were on the hyperbole train, because they knew what was at stake for this game. The winner was really going to probably kind of control the narrative heading into conference play and heading towards March Madness. And so there was a lot on the line. You could tell by the way that everybody played that there was a lot on the line. And I think each team wanted to make a statement with this game. And so that's why we made such a big deal, because this one was for, at least at this point in the season, all of the non-conference marbles. So
absolutely. And so for those that are listening at home, we did invite Fairfield to the Burr. And the shout out to the school systems that let the kids come in and get loud at a noontime game on a Friday. It was super exciting to hear the energy as we were tuned into that. And based on your setup, my king of hyperbole here, Chip, the cool part was that, as you can see, the final score was Howard did win. Howard made the statement we were looking for them to make. They won 72-69. And the score was close, and it should have been, because the way the game tracked. And I know this is the part I have to laugh, Chip, because it was the first quarter that made us a little nervous that this might get out of hand fast, right?
Yes, indeedy. So, I think for those that watched it after the buzzer, they didn't quite get the full tease, but, Coach Brian Davis scouted what we had to do to beat this team. And he said we had to defend the 3-point line at an elite level in order to win this game. And with the first quarter, we did not defend at an elite level, and we were down 25-12. And that was mostly 3-point shots from Fairfield. Yes, they came out smoking. So
well, what's funny is that we learned that they're really, 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 really good 3-point shooting team. And you know what they did? They showed us. They showed us who they were. In that first quarter, I felt like they were never going to stop. And even though we wound up shooting a slightly higher percentage, they doubled the made 3-pointers that we had. So that's how, about half their, a good chunk of their points were coming from the 3-point line. And we figured it out, though. So that's the good news, is after the first quarter and the shake, they shook us up a little bit. But, as you saw getting to halftime, we actually shut them down in a way where we were able to score and keep them at bay. I think they only scored single digits that 1 second period. So, the game was really tight going into halftime. And it went back and forth. I love it. When I see two
Yeah.
good teams going back and forth, and I think that last period where we finally just eked out the win and started playing like we wanted it. We closed the games, and I know that's one we talked about with both Coach Ty Grace and Coach Brian Davis, that there's a plan for every game, and you can tell that when we play these types of teams, it's not only how we compete throughout the game, it's how we close games. And so really excited to see how we were able to take advantage of all the lessons we learned playing against Syracuse and Purdue just recently, where they kind of out hustled us a little bit. And so we didn't let that down. We didn't let our guard down that way. So even as the shooters came shooting from Fairfield, we were able to negate that at some point, and they heated back up. So we didn't get a chance to have them shut down completely. So they played at their best, and I think we played at our best. And shout out to at least the emergence of Zoe Stewart, your guest on After the Buzzer. She's starting to become a pretty reliable scorer next to Zennia Thomas. And so similar to the guys, I'm looking for the scoring to come from multiple places, so people can't figure out how to stop one person or another. So really cool to see. Anything else you saw with this one?
I think I owe Zoe Stewart an apology, which she doesn't even know, because I didn't think she had the 3-point shot in her bag, but she showed it. She showed it, and so I'm like, oh, because I knew she was a mid-range assassin, but now I'm like, oh, you stepping out on the 3 as well. Okay, getting close to unguardable here. So
what do you call it? Scoring at all 3 levels. She can
all 3.
She got inside, outside. The mid range is always the case. Zoe DeRozan, as y'all like to call her here on Bison Nation, because she has that mid range game like DeMar DeRozan. But her 3-point line is hers too. So having someone who can score at all 3 levels along with Zennia, it just makes it a lot harder to game plan against us, which is super exciting. So I know Zoe led all scorers with 23 points. Zennia did her normal 14-point double-digit scoring. Shout out to Niall Miller. She continues to be a force on the inside. I know that she's her energy defensively kind of kicks the team into high gear. So I love how she shows up every day ready to play. And again, we're starting to see minutes from all over. I am excited about Emma Nukwe and Ariella Hennigan just continue to come into their own. I know based on our discussions, we're trying to get them ready for conference play. So again, exciting to see. And it was hard to imagine that, there wasn't a game that, our ladies didn't circle more than that, because they keep getting doubted. And I love the fact that they stop doing that. My favorite line from Zoe in her post-game interview before you was, hey, we can play with anybody. We can play with anybody. I said, sure enough, we can play with anybody. So shout out to the ladies and shout out to our Bison Nation for supporting our ladies who are playing like champions right now. And looking forward to them learning all that they're learning against these mid-major teams. And hopefully we can see that, matriculate into something that gives us hope for postseason aspirations, right?
Yes.
That's good. It's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So they have one more game, and we want to jump into that one because we're so high on the Fairfield game that we had to make some quick business trip before the recording of this show, and we made our way down to Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Virginia, and instead of playing Norfolk State or Hampton, we did play Old Dominion, which, based on your Cracker Jack analysis, Chip, is a team that's definitely getting consideration for rankings above their, punching above their belt right now, because they're reloading. But they definitely hosted a pretty intense and competitive game this weekend at ODU. Hey, the final score, just to cut it out there, ODU eked it out. And I'm going to say it that way. They eked out a win, 63-59. And as if you were able to listen or watch the show, watch the game on ESPN Plus, shout out to the provider. The commentators even talked about this was a game that was living up to its billing, because both teams are that competitive and both teams are winning at a high clip right now. So it was good to hear the respect, putting respect on Howard's name. So Let's talk about this one a little bit, because I know there were probably some highlights we want to share, as well as a few things we learned about today's game. So Chip, I'll let you start us off there.
I would say if I had to boil this down, just kind of a quick sound bite. First of all, if I had the little Spider-Man's multiverse, GIF where the Spider-Man is kind of pointing at the other Spider-Man and they kind of look alike. This was kind of that game, because same type of personnel. I think it was what was her name? I should know it. Samaru Fields was lighting it up. She was like our Zoe Stewart. Like every time she was a mid-range assassin, she was driving the lane and she was knocking down threes. I was like, oh my goodness. So they kind of matched us in everything, like everything that we're good at, they were good at. And the most, I say, the startling thing, and it might have been in the third quarter, was when they turned up the defensive pressure. And sort of, they didn't necessarily do it full 94 feet, but they turned up the defensive pressure and made us speed up and turn the ball over. I mean, it probably was about a 4 or 5 minute stretch where we were throwing the ball away, throwing the phantom people on the sideline. I mean, it was, and I was just like, wow, they're doing to us what we do to other people. And so, as Coach BD said, I just collected the data. Like, okay, we're learning. We're learning from this, right? And I think the cool thing is we have the personnel to recreate this in practice. So it's just kind of like, hey, I already know that they're doing it, but it's like the call to action now is, all right, everybody in practice, you got to, just play at that super high level so that we can continue to, recreate that pressure. Because we, like I said, we got the players that can provide that type of defensive pressure. And so I think for me, just from a collecting data standpoint, it's like, yeah, we're just going to have to keep doing that in practice, because it's not going to get easier as we head down the schedule here, especially from the non-conference standpoint. So, like I said, I was encouraged, even though it was startling to see. But I was like, all right, because as Zoe said on After the Buzzer, they look at the film, they take these games, and they see, all right, what do I have to do? What do I learn from this game? So I'm positive that they're going to look at this film and be like, all right, we got it. You turned up the heat on us, but we'll handle that better next time. So
yeah, they've responded so far. Every game, they're learning something. They're stacking the days the way we want them to stack them, where you see the lessons being applied immediately after a game. So I know, to your point, it was good to see, that Spideyverse imagery, where you're absolutely right. Somebody looking like, man, I've seen this somewhere before, and it was us in practice. So to see the people stepping up the way they did for ODU, and ODU is reloading like everyone else. They have brought folks coming in from like Coastal Carolina and a few other places that have some strong programs. So it's been amazing to see how much talent has been moving around in college athletics. And I just know that opportunity to play a team like ODU this early in the season, we haven't been ducking any competition. And so, my concern still remains around when we do get sped up, or when we do start getting turnovers forced. It does take away from our intensity sometimes on the defensive side. And even though we started, we're still seeing consistent scoring from Zoe and Zennia, right? I still need a few other scorers to emerge. April Edwards did a good job getting into double figures. And like I said, I still love the energy Niall brings, because she's all over the board. She got in some foul trouble today, so we didn't have her for a good stretch of the third quarter. And to your point, I think that's where not having her intensity probably changed the course of the game in terms of our ability to maybe redictate the pace, right? Because when we played our defense, we were fine, but we're not having the engine that Niall brings. It was noticeable today, and I know that's part of what I want to make sure that as we are taking notes and stats and writing them down, there's things that I know that when we get away from things that make us the team that we are, we're hoping to pull out an outcome. And so I will say that the difference in the game was 4 points. And I was trying to look it up fast here because when I looked at the free throws that we missed, we went 50% from the free throw line. On 16 attempts, we only made 8 points. Now, I graduated with an engineering degree like you, my friend, from Howard University. And if we lost by 4, but we missed 8 points on the free throw line, the game was not only in reach, we could have won the game, correct? And so unlike the Purdue game where we kind of got mollywopped pretty early and never really fully recovered because we spotted 30 points to a team, this game feels a lot like our VCU game where we kind of gave it away more than somebody took it from us. And so I know I'm trying not to sound biased, but I am. I do think that until somebody steps up and really beats us, I know that when we're losing some of these games, it's because we're learning, but it's also we have to keep in mind that we're just as talented and just as well coached as these other teams. It's in the execution, and so I'm looking forward to how we learn from today or from the ODU game. We do have a couple of games coming up. We got one we circled pretty well because it's just a good rivalry game, but we got between now and the end of the month here, but we don't see any light work when it comes to our non-conference schedule. So everybody we're playing should help us grow into the identity we want to have going into conference play. Right.
And do you want to play? You want to play any highlights? Because the Bison Nation's been telling us, like, even though they love to hear our excellent analysis, we've heard from the people that said we need some video, we need some highlights. So
that's right. That's right.
Let's
do it.
Let's show the people.
Let's run it. Let's run it.
So now Miller coming and got fouled, but they didn't call it.
I'm open.
Z-Pain
doing
her thing.
Oh man, she did work
over Starks, who was 6'4" and blocking dang near everybody's shot.
Yeah, she was.
Boom. Is that Zoe?
Yeah, that was Zoe.
Yeah, with the
she could shoot. Z from outside, from the line.
I was very happy to see this because Destiny didn't really get any time in the last game. So
yeah. Shout out to the highlights. I like that, Chip. Yeah, we should play that all the time.
Hey, a little bit more. That was it was 19 to 17 in the first, and it was it was a tight game.
Bowie State.
That's that same Destiny Bynum Johnson 3. I mean, it was good to see.
Oh yeah, this is great
game action. Yeah. So hey, we don't want to give him too much, but that was a tough bucket right there for Z-Pain. I'm always amazed at how she gets these shots up. Like, yeah,
it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. Hey, and Bison Nation, again, appreciate the feedback. I know you love hearing the voices and our expert analysis because we are looking at every single game, watching every single bit of film, and even taking in notes from our ability to tap in. As media, we get to talk to the players and the coaches more than most folks. The highlights keep coming. Definitely you should continue to follow our team's Instagram channels. They've been very good about putting a lot of highlights out there. And hey, as Chip told you, we try to put as many highlights as we can on Instagram, and anything we're producing, we actually put out on YouTube as well. So again, this is a great time to subscribe if you haven't subscribed and like what we're doing here, and definitely comment, right? Like we said, we look forward to hearing you as it goes. But Chip, the week was again, in the frame of reference, it's not conference, but it's also finals week, and people are starting to get ready to shut it down academically so they can focus in on a few games during the holidays here in the upcoming weeks. So what I'd like to do is switch gears and talk a little bit about over and under reactions right after the break. Hey, welcome back. It's your boy B Smooth and Chip Washington. We are part of the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. Shout out to my man E Wash. He couldn't make it today. He'll be back in an upcoming episode because he's got to bring us what's good for basketball. But this is one of the favorite parts of the show for us. We just finished our recaps. And if you're listening in right now, please continue to like and share and subscribe to the channel. But as you know, we take a little bit of information and try to make what we consider to be wildly educated guesses on where we think things are going. We call it over under reaction because sometimes we might be a little overboard and sometimes we might be a little underwhelmed by what we're seeing, right? And so at this point in the season, we're about 4 or 5 weeks into the season now. We're starting to get our footing. We've had a couple of underreactions recently. Chip, what do we see as an over or underreaction this week?
I'm coming with, and I don't know if I want to name it an over or underreaction, but I'm gonna call it an overreaction. But
Okay.
for the women, since we're already seeing the emergence of Zoe as a consistent double-digit scorer, and of course Z Payne as a double-digit scorer, I'm calling my shot now because I want to look at this a year from now and see that I'm right. I think we're going to get a breakout game from everybody on the women's roster. Like I'm saying, at least 15, 16 points from everybody on the roster. My only caveat would be maybe not Niall Miller, just because she's doing so much defensive work that she may not have time to score. But even I've seen Coach Grace she's using that depth, and it's just a matter of time for everybody to get their moment to shine. Dally Marino, she's shown me enough to show, she can score 20 if need be. Imanukwe, Ariella, Rain, Jada, it's just a matter of getting some minutes. I know that at some point during this entire season, everybody is going to have a game where I'm going to say at least 15 points from the roster. I've seen it. I've seen enough. Seen enough to make that prediction.
So what part of this didn't you think was not an overreaction? You didn't want to label it, but you may have redefined overreaction on this show. There's a level above overreaction. So let me get this straight. You're saying your mild reaction is everybody's going to be a star on the team. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. At some point during this season. It could be a blowout game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
see what you're saying.
I've seen enough from season 1 to know that sometimes what we say comes true. And I'm banking on this one. So play the tape back next November.
We'll go back in the vault for sure. So let me jump in here then, because I will tell you that I am in agreement that our ladies are going to do something special. I can't go all the way there with you, primarily because I know that in order to have that come true at all, we have to see a few more names pop up on the MEAC awards each week. So I know Zennia continues to be recognized as one of our top players in the conference. She's going to need to see some more folks on the team show up, either as freshmen or newcomers or what have you, so she can see some more of that showing up. But my reaction is probably one of I'll continue to be borderline underreacting here, but with our ladies, it's going to be a constant refrain. Whenever we go for more than 2 to 3 or 4 minutes without scoring, we tend to give the games away that we have. And so my prediction is that we'll figure out how to close that so we don't have such long droughts of not scoring. And when we score in a regular clip, I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with all the way through conference play. And right now, I'm looking forward to, again, that's why I'm harping on having maybe 2 to 3 more scores. I think last year I told you if we had 2 to 3 scores at any given time, we should feel pretty good about our chances to win. We got 2. I believe that there's 2 more that have to emerge, and not just whenever it happens, Chip. It's got to be somebody soon, so we can say who are the 3 to 4 people that could go off at any time. I give you that people may have a good game here and there, but There's got to be a nucleus of folks that can score from different parts of the floor just to open it up. So that's my underreaction is we got to manage the ability to have no open frames when it comes down to scoring. We can have a few, but we can't have long stretches where we're not scoring, right? That's where I am. That's where I am.
You know why you can't get with me on my overreaction?
Why is that?
You're scared. Because you're scared. Scared money don't make money.
I see my hand shaking. You see it? You see it? It's a karate man. I shake on the inside.
There
So what I'm telling you is that somewhere in your hyperbole, I do believe there's got to be at least 2 or 3 more people that emerge, and I know we have the talent. I have the talent.
Yeah.
Now on the men's side, you started something. I will tell you that for me, just for conversation purposes, we will go the way our big men go. If we can get our big men to be solid performers, we need some double kind of performances and some blocks and some energy on the boards. If we don't get that in some sort of clip here, I don't care how well it looks outside of that area there of the paint. There's some teams that are going to come right at us. And I'm not even talking about our non-conference schedule anymore. I'm talking about in conference play. I've taken to your ability to look at some of our potential competitors throughout the conference schedule. And 1 or 2 things they have in common is that they go to the bucket a lot more than we do. And they will, if they know we don't have anybody in the middle that's going to enforce your easy pass coming through, the lane, we're going to have some issues when it comes time to conference play. And we're going to need to see some size, to complement our ability to shoot from all the other parts of the court. So I'm looking at that as my overreaction would be big men got to play big. Big men got to play big. And it's not a hope you get there. It's like we got to start there and then maybe get a few more fouls and then clean that up. But we can't act like there's nothing in the middle. And that's what's happening on some of these games where we look back at the score sheet and we're like, there's no reason why these teams are beating us on the boards like this with 2 guys over 6'9". Yeah. So that's where I am there. Any other reactions for you for now? I know you've been trying to be good about it because the ladies have your heart as they should. They have been really, really fun to watch come together because they know they're doing something special and we know they're doing something special. So to be able to help them celebrate how special it is along the way is pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. Look, the only other reaction I had, and I'll borrow from a fellow member of the herd, Carlton Lockhart, when we were watching the ODU game. For ODU, was a couple of people that had headbands on. He said everybody with a headband is a problem, and he was right. And he was about right. So
I absolutely love that. That's so cool. So I appreciate it, man. I think we're trying to maintain. I know last year, because this is our first time out, we made wild accusations that didn't seem so wild after the season progressed. And I'm not scared. I'm hedging my bets because I want to see who emerges in the last couple of weeks of non-conference play. When we do our special on looking at the MEAC conference preview, I see myself letting go a little bit more because I want to make sure I'm comparing who's really emerging from the conference. I am going to tell you this. I'm kind of glad we're not having to face Southern women's basketball right now. They are playing some high caliber basketball right now. They're beating Power 5, Power 4 schools. Now it's on the regular. Like they did it once. It's like, ooh. Now it's like, wait a minute, they beat Arizona, they beat Houston. And how you say Houston has a problem.
Yes. We see you, Jaguars.
That's right. So shout out to the SWAC. I know we tend to be MEAC over here, but anybody who's winning like that, boy, we cheering you on. So I'm just glad to know we don't have to face you all in conference play right away. But if there happened to be a game on the books, I think I would make my way to that game for sure.
Yes.
For sure. That's good. So, hey, that's our over under reactions. If you all agree with me or disagree with Chip, it doesn't matter. Everybody's opinion matters. So please chime in on the comments. Make sure you let us know if you're rocking with our over and under reactions. You have been doing that so far. It's been nice to see who's who's really listening in and trying to figure out how the season might play out. We're going to definitely shift gears now because we want to talk about what we're looking forward to when it comes to the next week here. I will say that when this episode drops, we drop every Tuesday. Our normal recaps are on Tuesdays. Again, thank you for those who dropped the special bonus episode with Ty Grace on Friday. We got a couple of things coming up like that where you're going to see that on certain weeks, especially during the holidays here. But on this Tuesday drop in the next few days here, this happens to also be when we're going to be doing something pretty cool back at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And so I'm putting it to the stage here. And I need to make sure you all see this because we are going to play one of our former MEAC foes in North Carolina A&T State University back at Cameron Indoor. And for those who are wondering, why are we not playing in DC or Greensboro? Both campuses can support a game like this. It's just so happens that we're actually doing some historical perspective here. As Chip and I are both historical buffs when it comes to, cool things that happen with our universities and sports. And, by us playing North Carolina A&T on Tuesday night, 7:00 at Cameron Indoor, it's actually the recreation in some ways of the very first MEAC championship from the early 70s, 1970s, 1900s, as we like to call it. And by thus playing against each other, that's where that matchup took place at Cameron Indoor back when we first started the MEAC conference and had the championships in terms of basketball. So looking forward to this game for a number of reasons. Obviously, for me, I now get to join Chip in having my spouse, who's a proud graduate of North Carolina A&T, and my father-in-law. And he's one of my favorite father-in-laws. He's definitely top five. He's an A&T graduate as well. So we're going to have him and my wife there in the stands at Cameron. We're going to hopefully not have too much of a house divided, but we'll have some fun. Similar to Chip, I may be able to go live on a couple of reactions depending on how the game's going. And we'll see if we can bring them to the show when we do the recap next time. So that's one, is that it's historical for my family. Two, it's actually one of those things where because of the nature of the game, it actually will come with some sponsorship of the game. And, as Chip tells you all every week, a portion of the proceeds will be helpful for how we're donating to our MECA Society and our NIL collective. So the game itself will generate some opportunity for us to support our student athletes, which is a big part of why we do what we do, right? My hope is that I'll be able to continue our tradition of being media at the event so I can get you some behind the scenes coverage. I'll be there making it happen. So I'm traveling for the game since it's only a couple hours away from where I sit here in Charlotte. I don't think Chip will be able to make that trip in the middle of the week like this. That's tough. That's tough.
Not this time. And another cool thing is HBCU Go is going to be the TV media outlet. So
it will be,
adding to the historic nature of what's going on, and the home of one of our Bison shows, Erica Lee with the X's and O's at HBCU Go. So pretty cool that they're going to be, showing the game. So
that's true. Bison are everywhere. They're everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Erica and her team. We're definitely looking forward to continue to support her and support HBCU Go, which is a platform designed for these moments to really capture cool matchups. So that's definitely one that's coming up that we have circled. By the time this episode drops, we'll be, in pre-game mode. A lot of A&T folks are already calling me, so I've had to silence the calls because I said, let's talk when we get to the game. So see me at Cameron. See me at Cameron.
There you go.
And so we're going to work that out, right? So that's one that we circled. And then the other one that we've circled is next weekend, we'll be having the battle for the real HU, or as we affectionately call it, it's how Howard showed Hampton Institute who's the real HU. That's how it's really plotted to go. And what's cool about this is that we're going to have both our men and women teams playing against the Hampton teams in DC at Care First Arena. Tickets are on sale now, but the cool part is that, again, we used to be conference foes, so it's kind of funny to have non-conference games with people who used to be in the conference, because it still has that type of rivalry aspect. And so I know the ladies have a game against UVA on Wednesday before they turn their attention to this. But we circled a couple of games just so that as fans of the programs and as really curators of the stories that matter to each of us, we definitely have more people asking us about the rivalry games than they do about some of the other non-conference games. So excited to make sure that you know that we'll be bringing some updates the next time you get one of our recaps about two really cool matchups, one that has more of historical play, and this one is just hopefully just a good old-fashioned beatdown of Hampton. I would like to cheer that on, and if we don't, I'll have some choice words for my Hamptonian friends so they can listen in and listen close. I'm never going to back down to anybody who talking as much crap as y'all like to talk.
And they do.
They do. So Chip, I don't know, what are you excited about any of these matchups, man? And
definitely, and I feel like I got a slight bent towards the women's team, but the Hampton women's team, appears to be on a roll as well. Right now I think they're 6-3, playing some good teams. So it really should be, because as Coach Grace has already said, she's not ducking any smoke with this non-conference schedule. So I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to go, because like I said, it's already, the rivalry and Hampton Institute. So they, I think they're really going to be going at it even more so than the men, just because, like I said, they both have good records, good reputations coming into the game. So yeah, looking forward to that.
I love it. And so Chip, I know before we wrap up the show today, man, I know, it's still exciting to me that we're doing this every week and trying to bring stories that need to be told to the people. Just want to keep everybody in the know that as you all continue to enjoy our recaps, we will have a couple more drops of some special episodes. We started with Coach Grace last week during the Fairfield game day. We actually dropped the episode. And again, thank you all for those who have been checking out the episode. The numbers are really popping up there. So people are loving to learn the blueprint behind Coach Ty Grace and her rise as an excellent championship coach. We are going to be dropping part one of our Kenny Blakeney, Coach Poopy Blakeney interview, Poopy, during the Howard Hampton game day. So we're going to be able to get some folks to see a little bit more behind both our masterminds of our programs, the Dream Factory and the championship culture. So the rest of those episodes will drop over the holidays, and we'll have like a way for you to watch them in succession, kind of like you would on Netflix or other streaming services. But we want to make sure that you're continuing to learn about what's going on behind the program as we continue to bring you recap after recap after recap. So looking forward to the week. It's definitely the holiday season, Chip. Feeling very thankful that we continue to be able to do this and continue to get more awareness and more excitement around the Howard University men and women's basketball programs. Right. So let's wrap it up, man. Let's get people home for today. What do we need people to know?
Bison Nation, again, we thank you for supporting the program, supporting the teams. Just continue to donate to the MEAC Society. You can do it at themecasociety.org. Continue donating at hubison.com and at Fanstake. And please continue to tell everybody about this show. You're doing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing the results. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and you can follow us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. Continue to do all of those things. We appreciate your support. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Start typing the comments on what you think about these past couple of games that we just recapped. We appreciate it all. Keep doing it. Keep supporting us. We love the support. The teams love the support. And we're just here to have a good time and support Howard University basketball. So that's all I have. We're going to end this show with the only way that we know how to do it in true Bison spirit fashion. And that's you know.